Synapse Films and Red Shirt Pictures bring to 4K a much long-awaited cult favorite from the 80s. This is Trick or Treat, not to be confused with Trick or Treat or Trick or Treats. This is the 1986 heavy metal horror comedy starring Marc Price, that's right, Skippy from Family Ties, Tony Fields as satanic undead rocker Sammy Kerr, and features cameos it's always been a big part of the advertising in this film. Cameos by Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons, and also features Elaine Joyce from Mr. Merlin. This is a film about a young Eddie the Ragman. He is an outcast. He is a nerd. He's a metalhead in high school. He's beat upon and put upon and mocked and bullied by the posh kids, and he finds his solace in heavy metal and in his favorite band fronted by Sammy Kerr. Think leather and exposed skin and piercings and metal and chains and makeup and high hair and all the 80s metalisms. And I'm not going to tell you the whole story. He finds out that one day Sammy Kerr perishes. Sammy Kerr was somebody who went to his high school and made it. So Eddie sees Sammy Kerr as an F the man, F authority. You went to this dumb school in this dumb town and you made it, and you're inspiration for me to make it. And they would never let you play with your band. They wouldn't let you play the prom, and that was a travesty and all that stuff. So this film spoofs a lot of 80s culture of the time. It spoofs the PMRC hearings. It spoofs the satanic panic of the era, and the extras really get into that and do an amazing job. And so the story goes a little bit farther, just the basic idea. Sammy Kerr perishes in a fire. Gene Simmons, who plays a local DJ, gives Marc Price, Eddie, a copy LP. These are records. This is the day of records and tapes. He gives him, and actually CDs were around in 86 too, but not as popular. He gives him an LP, an acetate of the as yet unreleased new Sammy Kerr album, and Eddie decides to play it backwards, and oh my God, there's backwards messages, and it releases the undead, evil, hellish Freddy-like spirit of Sammy Kerr to just wreak havoc on all who are around. So it's a goofy movie. This is a film I remember being advertised when it came out back in the day. I didn't see it, and I rented it on tape and was like, whatever. And I think maybe just saw it on cable. And over the years, I've seen it a few times, and I've never really been a fan. So I received this new Blu-ray 4K, I should say, 4K UHD copy from Red Shirt Pictures and Synapse, and I said, I'm going to give this movie another shot. It's been several years, maybe seeing it looking better than ever. This has never really had a good video release. This came out on VHS. It came out in a pretty budget, like Platinum Entertainment or something, DVD that was basically just the VHS put onto DVD or something similar to that. Not a great transfer. And it's been impossible to find for the longest time. So this, I will say, if you're a fan of Trick or Treat, I'm not really a fan of Trick or Treat still. I can appreciate it and what it does that I like. Overall, it's not a movie I would watch again and again, but I know this has a rabid fan base, so the rest of what I'm going to say for this video is me talking to you and why you really probably should pick this up. This looks amazing. This movie's never looked this good before, maybe in theaters, but that's questionable. Looks and sounds fabulous. It comes with a newly remixed English 5.1 surround sound and the original theatrical English 2.0 mono. You've got English SDH subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing, or people who listen to a lot of heavy metal in high school may need this now. The original songs that are by Fastway are really good in this movie, and you get those a lot in the extras and on the... excuse me, you get them a lot in the extras and on the menus. I believe there was a limited edition version that Synapse put out of this that probably, I think, did come with the CD soundtrack, which I know was really hard to find for a long time. This edition is the retail version that you can go out and buy now that is in print, so just so you know. It was from the producers. I'm glancing at my notes over here. It was made by the producers of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, so there are some pretty strong Freddy similarities. This was a film that was produced by Dino De Laurentiis, who had a studio in North Carolina that was relatively new at the time, and things like, I think around the time this was being shot, they were also either just had finished or being prepped to be made, were things like Evil Dead 2 and Blue Velvet that were also done for De Laurentiis. Interestingly, Penelope Spheris was originally set to direct this, and it fell through, and she would have been great for this as far as the heavy metal thing, because she had done Decline of Western Civilization films at that point. It is I'm watching the movie, and at times there are things that are obviously funny, And there are things that are so cheesy and so silly and goofy. I'm like, I can't take this movie seriously. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, is this supposed to be a comedy? I'm not really sure. Then going through the voluminous extras, and I'll say this up front, for a film that I don't really care for all that much, the extras were amazing. Like, I enjoyed the extras far more than I enjoyed the movie. And I get why people like this movie. Watching it now, I can see why it's fun. This is a good party movie with friends. And if you're into the 80s or you lived through that era, I mean, it was made in that era, and it touches on and satirizes a lot of the hysteria that was going on at the time. I get now that it says in the extras that this film was intended to be a satire. It was intended to be a satire of horror movies and just American pop culture at the time. So I appreciate the movie more than I used to. Extras. We get a commentary by director Charles Martin Smith, who you may remember from being in movies like Never Cry Wolf and American Graffiti. That's a really good new commentary. You get audio interviews with writer-producer Michael S. Murphy and writer Rhett Topham. One interview is after the other. It's Michael Felsher, who runs Red Shirt Pictures and produces. Red Shirt Pictures has been a company that produces documentaries and featurettes and extras for Blu-rays and DVDs for several years. Now they have their own releasing label, and this is, I think, maybe only like the second release that they have done. Anyway, Michael Felsher interviews these guys, and it's one interview, and then it's the other interview. They're really good, and it runs the duration of the film, so it plays as like another audio commentary. Rock and Shock, the making of Trick or Treat, is 81 minutes. And these are interviews with cast and crew, just about all of the cast and crew who are alive. Again, excellent documentary done by Red Shirt Pictures that gets into a lot of what was going on at the time, a lot of on-set footage and photos. It's not just talking heads. It's really, really good. Again, if you're a fan of the film and you're like, I don't know if I need to get it, I think my tape is fine. You really want to get this for the extras. In the Spotlight, a tribute to Tony Fields. It's 15 minutes. A group of his family and friends gathered to celebrate the life of the late actor who played Sammy Kerr in this film. He passed away in the mid-90s, I believe, and he was a solid gold dancer, and he was in Chorus Line, the movie, and he had done a lot of things. He was ostensibly a dancer, but also did a lot of acting. He's really good, and they keep saying in the extras, the fact that Tony Fields was a dancer really helped his performance as Sammy Kerr in this film. It's a really kind of moving, beautifully done piece that's on here. Horror's Hallowed Grounds, the filming locations. Sean Clark has been doing the series for many years on YouTube, and a lot of them show up on DVDs and Blu-rays, where he goes to the filming locations and tries to reframe the shots exactly as much as he can and tells you where everything was shot, or as much as he can find for these various old horror movies and what they look like now. It's always very fun and interesting. That's 27 minutes. After Midnight, the original music video, it's 4 minutes. It features Tony Fields as Sammy Kerr singing the song. It's as though it was a Sammy Kerr music video from Trick or Treat, which was very common at the time, where you'd get music videos from movies and they would be 50% or often a lot more just clips from the movie. So that's on there. It looks and sounds good. You get 2 theatrical trailers that run 3.5 minutes. You get TV spots that run a minute. There are 2 of them. You get radio spots, and I remember seeing those TV spots too. I still remember the lines of dialogue from that TV spot. 3 radio spots, which had to have been toward the end of when radio spots were still being made. Those are 2 minutes. Vintage electronic press kit, that's 5 minutes. That's interviews with cast on the crew, intercut with clips from the movie, and a still gallery that is 24 minutes. And you have this is cool. I've never seen this. There's an optional audio interview with Philip V. Caruso, who was the film's still photographer, talking about that whole thing. So this is like incredibly dense. So you have the slipcase, the retail version. You can't really tell. You see reflections, but it's got a metallic, it's printed on like metallic stock, so which is, metal. It looks really good. And front and the back, you can't really read it, but I'll show you anyway. Slipcase slips to reveal the artwork without the metallic thing going on. And then you crack her open, and it is, let me verify, a single disc with the voluminous, getting ever thicker, Synapse Films printed catalog in there. So again, I will say I don't love Trick or Treat. I appreciate it. I think it's fun enough, but this release is really outstanding. So if you're a fan of Trick or Treat, you really want to get that. Available now from Red Shirt Pictures and Synapse Films on 4K UHD is 1986's Trick or Treat.